Hello and welcome to the Weekly News, a program where we recap the top highlights of the week gone by. Now let me give you the top headlines of the week. Chief Minister 𝐍𝐕 announced that post-1961 immigrants will be deported from state. We'll give you the details. 𝐍𝐄𝐰𝐓𝐕 MLA K. Ranjit says internally displaced persons haven't got any money out of dummy checks. Chief Minister 𝐍𝐕 inaugurated alternate housing complex at National Games Village, Langkol. Works Minister Govindas 𝐍𝐄𝐰𝐓𝐕 asserted that Kuki MLA 𝐍𝐄𝐰𝐓𝐕 is the main instigator of all violence. We'll talk about it. And oil pumps shut down, resulting to high price of fuel in black. We've got all this lined up for you. Now let's get started. Chief Minister 𝐍𝐕 announced that the government will deport post-1961 immigrants from the state, while border fencing will soon be constructed to check illegal drug smugglers moving freely through the porous border. He said that the measures will help in building a peaceful society for the future generation. The Chief Minister made the statement at the launch event of Project Buniyat Atmanirbharta Ka Aadhar of Honda India Foundation at Classic Grande, Chingmairong on Monday. An MOU promising job security for trainees under the project was also signed on the occasion. Speaking further, Chief Minister 𝐍𝐕 said, people of state must continue to fight on even as a crisis has deeply affected every single person. Stating that the people are now fighting identity war for survival, he alleged that the sufferings today is the outcome of misgovernance of the past governments. Saying that the project launched will benefit the youths of the state, he continued that under the project, the youths of the state will be trained to be more disciplined, adding that it is a pride for the state that Manipur is among the 3 states selected for the project.
Manipur, everyone knows we are passing through trouble time. Even then, we survived the way. We in the way. Now see, crisis see existence struggle, survival struggle, identity struggle. Mamanga sahi chamari mamanga sani mamanga koibu. Fachana thambiramba. Ekoi land, ekoi property, ekoi identity kunamasi. Mate khara hoye vision yauda politicians leader khara ne koishi. Mapamara khanunda bi koishi akoi insecure. Ekoi generation je insecure. But insecure ekoi khan kodi ngase ekoi tawri se ko mena honi se to secure your future and you no you secure when you say when those nandi honorable Chaji ki tweet to no internationally Indian national camp sathini lune loge money my tweet to it affects the internal security of India, it affects the demographic stabilization. I'm clearly out. I don't know, Madu Nasidi, Nasiri, Napi, Tenel settlers, and lack of future generations are releasing set securely. FMR, total is check and balance already. Some talk something pre collide, talk pushing, drug, talk pushing, some talk something, but Tani no on the Tariva, Tanagi no come the Bimapupa and the Vita Masuji. Now, you are the owner now. Pension Torrent, FMR Catalani. Then, in a line Paniki, Bezia 1961, Matungula Kosin, Kandu Kanekoi, irrespective of caste and community, deported. Then other you know very like, Sequoia. Politics of Maria, she does it. Why? Nasi, when a concern to city. Nasi, Mirona insecure is my loyal and a royal. No idea. I do not know see. Niki Miching and Tari, but tongue romance.
MLA of 𝐍𝐄𝐰𝐓𝐕 Assembly Constituency, K. Ranjit, while maintaining that several displaced people from 𝐍𝐄𝐰 and adjacent villages went to Chief Minister's Secretariat to discuss their resettlement on the invitation of the government, added that the government provided dummy checks to only 8 people from among the displaced people. No persons from 𝐍𝐄𝐰 and Sero areas have received any funding from the government for their rehabilitation and resettlement though some have returned from the relief camps, he said, urging the government to release the fund. Hitting out at the government, Ranjit also questioned as to why it is deceiving the people and that it is quite wrong on the government's part. The MLA said while inspecting the condition of the dam at Molben village under Chakpikarong subdivision of Chandel district on 11 of this month. The dam is reportedly constructed by the MLA to provide water for irrigation to violence-affected farmers of Sero and Suknu. Deputy CLP leader MLA K. Ranjit said he will raise the matter of resettlement of displaced people and other issues relating to the violence in the upcoming session of State Assembly. Continuing then that he requested the government to deploy 4 companies of security forces at Suknu areas, but the government sent only 2. K. Ranjit maintained that it was impossible for only 2 companies of security forces to monitor the law and order situation in the vast Suknu areas, and thus the violence hit the constituency on May 28. Kuki militants attacked Suknu and Sero areas in the midnight of May 28, resulting in the deaths of many villagers. He recounted and added that so many precious lives could have been saved and properties safeguarded had the government sent adequate security forces in the areas.
Mai sakra matung su kaya kana magi secretary habta same secretary satna koi sida state security khare hena thambina ba khona ba aiduna request tawi anira ahum lakchani adu nong mata mana kari haini awaba taraba kendra gi MLA moina akoina ga hairu se phone si pung muka lera pairak pa traga nongala ngarang du samai tawna tawre ha lan gi matam dadi lakpa ga paina ga dami adu gumbagi pairak tabada ikai ba akoi su phasu patra su tam tarulak sure kare se ma tinara ibni yam haining de yamna detail lu the assembly the la ani mram the assembly samon to hramina aisu ai member magi right masigi issue gi matang da ichap chab rest tawni leader moina chief minister moina effect to ba kendra gi MLA akoi tare nipan ga se ko bi moi ruling gi ding haitan phamina rangoni ai khang akoi opposition gi MLA lokeshwar mo sung ai ga se kari kamai dori noi noi kendra da kamai to ga si peace to por pose kamai kai se se nongata hangde musi yam nuai ta ba hai ba chief minister moina leader moina Parasu Patrasu Koisu Kendra Magi Prajana Tagalib. Lore, Chief Minister Siri Biren Hakta, MLA Habise, Simuk, Ikaiba, Kari Nungino Habu Yora, Maramdi, Mana Matam Sana, Matam Sana, Sigi Iran says Hop the Hodaba, the Sing and the Free Tava, Tamdana, sexually when they had not told him I am press is no man, the Kangino, Masidu Prajamian, Laura Kola, Tabada, MLA Ni Habado, saying the Kaire, it's my time together. Sero, Sugunu, Rumor, Yam Tongalo Bigano, Ladyba, BSF, Assam Rifle, Baru in Assam Rifle is Sero area, the Sugunu, BSF, Commando, IRB, MR, Sero, IRB lay, MR Commando lay, BSF Colonna. Has a full protection PD. I should have put on Ilate, a Lanzena Rava, from Zidagi Lam Sakaba, a Siva, the Villa to my young, Mediana was in the CCPD or not.
Chief Minister 𝐍𝐄𝐰𝐓𝐕 inaugurated a newly constructed alternative housing complex at National Games Village, Langol on Thursday. The alternate housing complex was constructed by Planning and Development Authority, Manipur, under the funding of Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited and the state government. Speaking on the occasion, Chief Minister 𝐍𝐿𝐕 emphasized the importance for people to realize the pressing need to save the environment, while urging the public not to encroach the reserved forest areas. Reiterating that past mistakes are the cause of today's sufferings, he called upon the people to join hands to ensure the future generations do not suffer. Speaking about the housing complex inaugurated on Thursday, he said a cabinet meeting will soon be convened to decide who will be allotted to the quarters. Informing that the housing complex had been constructed at the cost of around ₹58 crores, he added that the construction work was completed in less than 2 years. He continued that many development works could be taken up with the cooperation and support from the public. He further informed that the government had identified certain sites along foothills where agriculture activities could not be taken up, adding that similar projects would be taken up at the identified sites. 𝐍𝐕 also informed that the government has plans to construct another view tower at Langol Hills apart from the 2 view towers which had already been constructed. He also mentioned the plan to connect the view towers with the recreation center adjoining the Lamphilpat water body by cable car.
Even asi hek noiba ko second ko kana survey only langol gi maton ohum adang ani made ko sagre infal view na makata karga infal patna ugo mafam ani sagre ko ahan matamna honorable prime minister modi ji na sangakre atopa langol gi toba ma leidi asi yong sarga ohum ji sarga na ko lampel gi huje ki leibak Sira kana ko na kano uduri ba ko restaurant ka thamduri ba adagi angang mayam sabon ga sada ga tuhal ga sana ga dori ba pham haida rina recreation center se asiga langol hill ahum siga cable car da sanan no ge ko planning ne vision ne lampel ba seng ne lawe ai ko na khalla la ise kuile adu funding ga ri he ga da ne seng ne huji dikya phajare asida pailai bu shi mayam ga ais nahan at the difference of birds, which is makal mayam, not the udo mayams. Now, maybe after 109 years, sigi varieties of birds, lamkir batu go from here. Other than kara scenes, kara lambi uji koi concrete road chema.
Works, Youth Affairs and Sports Minister THIYAM said that Kuki MLA Paulinlan Haukip, who recently received electoral rights in Manipur in the year 2021, is the main instigator of all the violence in Manipur. Taking to social media platform X, the minister wrote the above in response to Paulinlan Haukip's statement that maintained that they gave away state security arms and ammunition, none suspended. They lead mobs to burn down Kuki colonies in Imphal, no action. A police personnel appeared in a viral video of Kuki volunteers and he got suspended. Is this just a state? Whoever supports an unjust state. Minister Govindas further contended that the statement by the MLA is a hate campaign to promote himself among his community and that the truth is Meitei colonies were burnt down in Churachandpur, and after some time all the houses and remains were grounded and leveled for other purposes. No action was taken by the government. No one was suspended. A few houses were burnt in Imphal but not grounded, and they are still intact, Govindas continued in his post, adding that MLAs and leaders like Paulinlan make the fate of Kukis who were settled before 1961 suffer. Saying that the MLA's statement concerning the handling of security issues and communal violence in Manipur is deeply shocking, Govindas continued that it appears to be blatant attempt to incite hate and division within communities for personal gain. The selective enforcement of disciplinary actions highlights a grave injustice within the system, he said, further adding that it's evident that such leaders are exploiting societal tensions and perpetuating violence for their own political agenda, ultimately causing harm to innocent civilians and disrupting communal harmony. It's imperative to stand against such hate campaigns and hold accountable to those who manipulate public sentiment for selfish motives. True leadership should prioritize the safety and well-being of all citizens, irrespective of their background, and work towards fostering unity and reconciliation within diverse communities, he said, and cautioned the people to be aware of such pseudo-politicians. With 3-day shutdown of fuel retail outlets and pumps in valid districts of Manipur, many enter purchasing fuel from the black market at extremely high prices. The resolution to close ROs for 3 days taken during an emergency meeting of oil dealers and representatives of retail outlets over difficulties being faced by petrol pumps in the valid districts on February 15 has deeply affected the common people. Taking advantage of the situation, some private individuals are selling the petrol at prices as high as 160 to 180 rupees per litre. Despite the exorbitant rates, helpless common people with no other option are still purchasing fuel from the traders in black market. Above the hardships facing by the civilians due to the protected crisis, the closure of the fuel retail outlets has added to their woes. Well, that is all we have for this week. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week. Until then, this is Jessie THIYAM signing off.